What's going on, everybody? Will here, and welcome to the Book Barrel. Today I'll be reviewing The Mothers by Brit Bennett. If this is your first time here, thanks so much for stopping by. If you want more book reviews like these, please consider subscribing to this channel, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. So if you're familiar with the way that we do book reviews here, we're going to get started with the premise point. This one is literary fiction, and I say it's very introspective. In fact, it borders on being a cautionary tale from the way that I perceive the story. It's set in a present day San Diego, California, where we find Nadia. She's a real standout student, and we're kind of coming in contact with her in the summer right before she's set to go off to out-of-state school. She has a really bright future, but she's coming from a bit of a dark past. And so during this summer, she meets a guy named Luke, this former collegiate athlete, and they do what two people who like each other do. She ends up pregnant, and she makes the decision to get an abortion. And so the story kind of chronicles what happens as a result of that decision, and we get insight into the relationships that form or fall apart as a result of that decision that she makes. On to the polarization point. This one is called The Mothers, and as you can see, it does have a really beautiful, colorful cover. And with that being the case, it may lull you into thinking that this is a feel-good story, but I assure you that that is not the case. This one is really visceral, it's gut-wrenching at times, and Bennett pulls no punches in her storytelling of this one. I think everybody in this book is complex, and I think we will see all of them as both someone we root for and also like one of the bad guys per se. So if you enjoy that type of complexity in your narrative and you want something that's true to life, I think you'll really appreciate this one. On the flip side, this does cover abortion, sexual abuse, and she's chronicling trauma pretty much. And so if that's a ride that you're not prepared to go on, I do want to caution you, and that may be a reason why you don't want to read this one. So I'll leave it up to you guys. On to the personal point, I will start by saying that this was a recommendation, and so it's not a story that I sought out, and it's not something that I typically would read. But with that out the way, I did appreciate it, even though I did speak about the cover being misleading earlier. I do think that cover was appropriate, because if you look at the cover, it looks like a quilt or some type of tapestry, the way that I perceive it, and that's the way that she tells this story. So it's called The Mothers because the church mothers serve as these omniscient narrators, and they kind of weave together all of these women's stories. So I just finished reading Circe as well, so this one reminded me of the Fates of Greek mythology, the way that they're kind of just sitting above it all and just kind of weaving these people's stories together. And what it does is, as you look at the story as a whole, all of the characters combine to kind of show you this is motherhood in its entirety. So you have the conception, you have the longing, you have the feelings of loss. She does a wonderful job in just kind of weaving all of these different experiences together to give you a portrait of what it means to be a mother, one, and more importantly, what womanhood calls for. So I really enjoyed this one. I think that it was masterfully done, and although it was something that I wouldn't normally read, I did get a lot from it. On the other hand, because it was something that I wouldn't normally read, and because there wasn't much action, I think there may have been like one fight scene. This was one that I struggled through. I feel like the story didn't come to me. I had to seek it out. I just had to push through. And And so with that, that's going to reflect on my rating a lot. But I think if this is something that's more in your lane and something that you're more a type of story that you're more accustomed to reading, I think that you would get a lot out of this one. And we'll move on to the purchase point. So I did give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was more of a reflection on me and my reading preferences than it is an indictment on Bennett and her writing prowess. She is a wonderful writer. This story is masterfully told. If the subject matter is something that you're interested in, I definitely encourage you to check this one out and let me know how you like it. If you've already read it before, let me get your take in the comments. Link me to you all's reviews if you have any, and I'll check those out. But I'd love to hear what some other readers thought about this one. Alright guys, that's all that I have for you all today. If you have watched up until this point, I do want to let you know that I appreciate the time that you spend at the channel. I do want to say thank you. And before you go, just hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to say something nice in the comments. I love to hear from you.